With me now in our studio here in Bethlehem is Mother Laura Howell, who's director of Trinity in Bethlehem. Good morning, Mother Laura.
Good morning, sir.
Trinity Church in Bethlehem has a very organized prayer life as a parish. Can you tell us something about it?
Well, I am thrilled to say that that was not my invention. When I came to Trinity, there was already a long tradition of corporate prayer, lay-led, I might add, which is
That's important.
Thrilling. And I was just delighted to be able to fold right into that. Mm-hmm. And they welcome me. I'm allowed. And it's just a wonderful and joyful experience to say the daily office with the community mm-hmm. that I serve.
Is that morning and evening prayer?
Morning and evening, yes. And centering prayer on Sundays mm-hmm. and various other special events mm-hmm. throughout the week.
Okay. And is there a little congregation that comes each day, or does it vary?
There is a morning congregation and an evening congregation. Not everyone can come because of work commitments mm-hmm. at both times, but it's very faithful. And new parishioners who have come in and joined either the morning or the evening group are surprised how immediately they become enmeshed in the group and mm-hmm. how much love and concern and caring for each other and for the broader congregation grows out of those prayer sessions.
So at Trinity Church, you just get together to pray every day, or does anything else go on?
Well, we feed a few people, like about 150 a day.
So you could say that the corporate prayer and the corporate outreach are both fairly pronounced.
They're central to our mission.
Do they feed each other?
Absolutely. As our mission is, feeding all in body, mind, and spirit.
Okay. So if I were to come to Trinity Church, how would I be aware that this rhythm is going on?
It's posted all over. It's on
mm-hmm.
the website, it's on the bulletins, it's on the newsletters. Mm-hmm. The doors open and close at the appropriate times. Mm-hmm. And people are excited about it and always make sure that new folks know.
Would it be fair to say that even people whose lives don't allow them to participate regularly know this is happening
yes.
and are invested in it?
Well, I think beyond being invested, they participate in their own way. One of the things that folks have said to me is, even if they cannot physically attend, they know as they're driving on Route 78 or at home taking care of the children that there is a group every day at the same time praying for them and with them.
So they have a support right there.
Absolutely. And I think we see that in the church. There's a real sense of community and connectedness to each other mm-hmm. and to the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm. Is the prayer book terribly complicated to use every day like that?
Not really. There are several different versions, shorter and longer, that you can use, but also I have developed a little flow chart if someone is mm-hmm. excited about learning how to do it themselves.
So if a small church wanted to establish this rhythm, it would not be a big deal?
Not at all. And some of the other little churches in our area have sent missioners to learn how to do it mm-hmm. and to have a taste of what effect it can have in people's lives.
So even a church that only has maybe clergy once a week could have a life of organized prayer going on all week.
Absolutely. I annoy my congregation by saying, if the laity may, the laity should. There's no reason why only clergy. The daily office is for all Christians.
So that's the positive version of Murphy's Law.
I guess.
Yeah. If something should happen, maybe it ought to. Yeah. Great. All right. We're all three sitting here with colors on. I wonder if you have any stories of lay people's involvement in Trinity's morning prayer program and what they've shared.
I spoke to two of our lay leaders because they knew I was coming to do this, to ask them about what was important for them about the daily office. One of them, who was a convert to the Episcopal Church in the early days of World War II, talked about taking his prayer book, his leather-bound prayer book, with him into battle, and when it was possible, saying morning and evening prayer with the prayer book, even in that difficult place. And however many years later that is, decades, he is still saying morning prayer. And also centering prayer, by the way.
Wonderful. Another
one which was really fun for me to hear, because I always claim that the church is never empty when we're there to pray. It's full of the hosts of heaven. Told that he woke up early in the morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning, and was about to get up and go to the church to say morning prayer and realized it was much too early. So he went back to sleep and had a dream that he had come to the church, and the church was packed, bursting at the seams, with people sitting, waiting patiently, people that he had never seen before. And he asked them why they were there, and they said, well, we're waiting for you to come and say morning prayer.
So when we talk about our prayer being united with those of all times and all places, that is a reality for this man and for offered to each of us.
Absolutely.
If I came to you and said, you know, I'm a member of St. X somewhere, and I hear you've got this going, why should I consider it? How would you sum up our conversation?
Well, I do recall a saying from the early church that a Christian alone is not really a Christian. And I have a twist on that, is that a true Christian can never really be alone. And praying morning, evening prayer, night prayer, whatever prayers we are moved to make, hooks us in to the church universal in all times and places.
So if Father Francis was talking about how he as a person is centered and borne along in his day's work, I'm hearing you say that a parish is similarly centered and borne along in its work through its life of prayer.
Absolutely.
Pretty great stuff.
I think so, and it really works, at least for us.
Thank you very much.
Most welcome.
In 1978, when I got my first video recorder, like any other father, the first thing I did was get my 2 children, who were ages 3 and 6, on the sofa in the family room to perform, and they could watch themselves on the monitor. And after one break to readjust something, and I turned it on again, my son said, "We're back." And we are. Now, we've heard 2 exciting conversations. One with a person who has found places in his life where he can be still and know that the Lord is God, and through those simple practices find support, energy, and power for his life. And we've heard that what's true of an individual can be true of a parish. And we've heard from Trinity Bethlehem, where they have an active rhythm of daily prayer and have a leading ministry in feeding and caring for those who have no food and no homes. We're going to ask you to be thinking about how that can become more real and how we can all make more space for God to work in our lives. Well, we have some questions, and you don't have to write these down because they'll be on the screen and they'll be on sheets that your leaders have. But the first one begins with one of my favorite stories, and that is that Evelyn Underhill in the 1920s wrote a book which she called Practical Mysticism for Normal People. And our first question is, does any of what we're describing sound like what normal people could do? Question 2. What do you do to quiet your mind? Question 3, and again, don't write this down. What would be the first step for enriching the corporate prayer life of your parish? At the Diocesan Training Day on April 2nd, there'll be opportunities for parishes to send representatives to learn how they might set up a richer corporate prayer life on a daily or several times a week basis. And there'll be chances as well for people to come and work on deepening their own prayer life. And we promise not to embarrass anybody. Question 4 may be the most important thing we talk about this morning. Do we all understand and believe that lay people can do this? For many years in this diocese, we did not have a priest for every parish, and we don't always today. But for decades upon decades, faithful lay people led especially morning prayer in their own parishes with occasional visits from a priest. Now, circumstances may or may not bring us back to that on a Sunday basis, but what about every day? Do we believe that lay people can do this? Our final question is this. Can you share a bit about how you experience God's presence in your life, particularly in those moments of prayer? What did Thomas Keating say?
I think he said, pray as you can, not as you can't. So if not everyone can do what Father John Francis does or what I do at Trinity Bethlehem, do something.
So God only asks the possible of us.
As far as I know.
Okay. Thank you again for being with us today in this important next step in our life as a diocese. Thank you both very much.
Most welcome.